Welcome to this new adventure called the Patriarch of Zen, the Zen Patriarch, and that's a new series that we're stepping into. And so I'm happy that you're here, that you decided to join this adventure. And so are we stepping into a new tradition here? No, definitely not. So like we don't really have a tradition. And that's very Zen too. So I'm happy to demonstrate that, to perform that here right in front of your eyes. It's like all the traditions have become institutions, have become religions. In Christianity, we also don't follow the institution. So with Zen, we also don't follow the institution Zen. Because basically, when it becomes a religion, it is dead. It becomes an organization. It becomes a thing in itself. And that has nothing to do with your experience of truth. So that's why this is such a great thing. Like, this sets you free of the traditions. It's like, it doesn't matter what the tradition is. It is not, we don't have to follow the rules, in other words. No, please not. Same as the rules that we have followed in Christianity. We don't follow those rules any longer. That has been gone for a long time. It was dead a long time ago. Same with the Zen tradition. Like, there is no such thing that is alive. So that is... yeah, that's quite an expression if I say it like this, but immediately I feel it sets me free of any kind of confirmation that I have to do in order to be something, and that would be in direct contrast with what actually the discovery is. In other words, in recognition of my whole mind, everything becomes part of that. And everything becomes useful for that. Every expression that is true, coming from truth, expressing truth, it becomes a portal to me, not a concept. It becomes a portal in which I can literally leave this all behind and see that, yes, being is being, truth is truth, light is light, presence is presence. That's it. That's it. So that's so lovely. That's really the freedom I experience in stepping into this Zen Patriarch. So the Zen Patriarch, you could say the father of the Zen, the one who discovers something, has to be you. Otherwise it would be worthless, you could say. So this you is all inclusive, so that includes as well traditions too. It doesn't exclude it. It just doesn't become part of an organization. And that's all. Like, that's why it's so great to use expressions from the Zen tradition like we do. We use expressions in this series. We use expressions, but then to come to the truth that it conveys, to actually allow it to affect you in a way that literally opens up the heavens to you. Yeah, that's what a Zen master would do. Opening the heavens, or recognizing that the heavens are open and you are the only one stopping yourself from not entering in. Just as in total insanity not to enter into heaven. So this reservation of not entering heaven is what we leave behind, and everything that we use here is in fact to facilitate that. And the facilitation is the undoing. So it's like here's the at-one-ment principle at work. Now in the Zen Patriarch, we use, every time I need a kiss, I can do just this, like, yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. So every time and that we go into this, it is like, here we are. We're using A Course in Miracles. We're using a beautiful book called, of course I forget the title. There's Dharma in there. There's truth in there. The I will read it to you in a second. That is just, this kiss just blew me away. You could see that. So it is like using expressions from that. That's a real book from the Zen tradition, but very, very actual, like from 2023. But the wisdom that's in there is, of course, like really coming from these Zen patriarchs also. And we use the third patriarch of Zen, the Great Way, which we have used before. You might recognize it, but the way we use it today is totally different, because we're entering into some practices. One of the practices would be the Zen meditation, of the miracle Zen, as I called it. The miracle Zen is a combination of silence and expressions and sounds. And the silence speaks for itself. The words that I use are coming from today from the third patriarch of Zen, which is a Chinese 6th century patriarch. And he wrote, say, a poem, which is the Great Way. And we use 5 expressions from that. Now we use koans. In an introduction that I will do is the Realized Koan. That's a part that we use from the True Dharma Eye. I think that was the title, the True Dharma Eye. And this is a great Zen book with lots of expressions, a lot of explanations, really dissected into all kinds of expressions and ideas to get to it. Not that understanding is necessary, don't get me wrong. It's like, no, this is the same story here. Like, the one that tries to find this is in fact the one that needs to get out of the way. So this is more like a tranquilizer. You read those sentences, it tranquilizes you in activity. It puts you into a passive state in which activity can be born in you. But see, that's a little different formulated, but in fact it comes down to it. So in other words, there's an undoing process, an undoing that is taking place of what isn't, so that what is can manifest itself. And of course it does it immediately as soon as you allow that to occur. Now this is so the same story as we're so used to with the Course in Miracles, for instance. Now the Course in Miracles, I don't know if we get to it. There's one segment in this meeting that's called Christ's Treasury. Oh yeah, he used Treasury of the True Dharma Eye. That was the title of the book. So we used Christ's Treasury, since that's also a word that comes like that's written in the Urtext of A Course in Miracles, the Treasury of the Christ. So we use that in order to, in fact, come to prayer, come to meditation, and receiving the gifts that are ours. Receiving the gifts is a continuous occasion. It is just that you're not always aware of it, that it's a gift, for one thing. And the other thing is that you're not even aware that it's given you, because you're so occupied in trying to survive in a state that has no future. But still looking for the future. So that's why that doesn't work. Now you see the words that I use, the way that I express myself here, is slightly different than you might be used to. So that is in that sense good to learn to hear again in a different way. That's where all these meetings are for. In fact, the transition doula was a very specific vocabulary that we used. The initiate, the miracle worker, in fact, too. And then the troubadour, of course, was also a very different way of listening and coming to something new, in fact, coming to a new way of listening and recognition in yourself to open your consciousness even more. Well, that's what is happening here too. It's like there's an invitation to open your consciousness even more. And why would you do that? Just to have a deeper experience of what is true. That's all. And yeah, whatever helps with that. And this is a joyous occasion to let the Zen tradition, so to speak, give words, give expression to that very same thing in different words, that if you start to hear it, that becomes a recognition of, yes, now it really doesn't matter in what language this comes to me. Like I can hear what it says just by being completely open. I can let myself be affected by it. I don't need to understand it to be affected by it. I can step back and let this totally affect me without understanding it. Literally, I can come to this new vision, the treasury of the true Dharma I. Like I can come to a new vision just by shutting off my own bodily eyes and leaving perception for what it is. Now this is exactly what we do here, what we're training, you could say, or exercising. And so that's a real adventure in that sense. Now we start with a meditation. That's a bit different because you will hear different kind of sounds too. So I used my beautiful bowl here, my singing bowl, to make noise, and that is so quiet. That is great to use, and not that the charms, the bells and all this have magical power, no, but it's just a different way to help you concentrate on this moment instead of walking away to somewhere else in your mind and following that, but staying present here, because literally if you want to find anything, it is already here. That is a pathless path. It is present here with you. Now, so you're opening up to it helps you to relax. That's for one thing, but also it is here. It isn't somewhere else. Now that's also the healing opportunity. I always mention that, but there's always the healing opportunity here too. You see that if you quiet down your mind, you see what you're doing with your mind. Like you're always being pulled into the future, as if there's something there that if you do this right, it can be achieved. Or like maybe if circumstances change, then I will be fine. Or if this wasn't here, then I will be saved. And in this tradition that we're in this practice that we're in, that is like, no, there's no such thing as a future. It's like, if it isn't now, it isn't. So there's no future outcome. There's not a time in which this is a better moment or something. Like it is not conditional. In other words, everything is given now, or it is never given. There's not a better moment to receive this. Now that has a real, grounding force. It brings you really right back here. And that's something that you can even start to physically feel, that you're so almost like nailed to the ground, or that you're feeling that you're carrying a heavy load, as if something is pressing down on you in this instant. And that is a good sign, because literally you start to become too heavy to pull yourself up and project yourself into the future, but just completely land here to receive what is given. It's like finally your journey came to an end in that sense, and here you are. You arrived right here. So this meditation that we do has in fact that's a help to that too, to relax, to become present here. Any temptation to pull you into a projection, a future projection of future hope, you can let go of. You don't need it. So let it be present here now. Let yourself be present here now. So you'll see pass by expressions from the Great Way, the third, say the poetry of the third patriarch of Zen, a Chinese, I think 6th or 7th century patriarch. And so there's an expression, there's 4 or 5 minutes of silence, then there's another expression, and so on for just about 15 minutes or so, just as a warming up for this centering, healing moment together. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinions for or against anything.
Alors, ne portez aucune opinion, qu'elle soit pour ou contre quoi que ce soit.
The way is perfect like vast space, where nothing is lacking and nothing in excess.
La voie est sublime comme l'immensité de l'univers, où tout est en harmonie et tout trouve sa juste mesure. à l'activité par la passivité, votre propre effort vous imprègne d'une énergie nouvelle.
Remain in one extreme or the other, you will never know oneness.
Tant que vous demeurerez dans un extrême ou dans l'autre, vous ne découvrirez jamais l'unité.
live neither in the entanglements of outer things, nor in the inner feelings of emptiness.
Ne vous laissez pas piéger par les méandres des éléments extérieurs, ni par les émotions intérieures de désolation.
So this is also so great. It's the Johann Sebastian Bach, and it's played by the Japanese marimba player, Kunika Kato. And you see, this is like the same idea as in tradition. Like in the Baroque tradition, you wouldn't think about playing Bach with a marimba. But here comes an original mind, you could say, who does that and discovers how well that fits too, and to let it come to expression. So it's like that is the freedom that you have, in fact, to receive it and express it in the way that you can hear it. Now that's really lovely. Now this, in our, say, the Zen Patriarch, we're going to open up, you could say, we open up the spectrum by not just only meditating, by not just only listening, by not just only doing this or that. It's like we can bring this into self-expression too, just like this marimba player. And then that could be by writing a haiku, like a Japanese way of poetry, for instance, or drawing a sand tangle. I don't know if you ever did that, but that's also great. One of the assignments here will be to make to discover what that means in sand tangle and play with it. So just to, in fact, say, shake yourself loose from tradition, from the Course in Miracles tradition, or from the Joel Goldsmith tradition, or from the Christian tradition, or from the Zen tradition, or who knows what tradition. Like the natural tendency of the human mind would be to bring it into form, to bring it into institution, and just keep going in the automatic modus. So here's like, no, it's open. No, there's no need to submit yourself under the law of the tradition. No, there's only the law of God, which is the law of freedom, the law of love. And that's expressed through you if you allow yourself to let that occur. So who knows how that's going to express itself? Continuously we're coming back to that, but that's like really the training, you could say, that is happening, allowing yourself to be self-expressive in yourself and not be concerned about what the world would think about that, or if it fits in the tradition, or if, like this. So that's a very free way of thinking. You could say it's very free because the universe is what free thinking is. Like the universe is thought, is created action, is pure self-expression. So yeah, it's like incredibly adventurous to step into it this way. That's what I love about it. So to give you more examples, so we're going to use the book, like the Treasure of the Dharma Eye, of the true Dharma Eye. And before we do that, I'll give you a couple of words that might be unfamiliar to you. Just, it's simple as that. Koan, Dharma, and one more I forgot, but I'll bring it up because I made a little syllabus or reader, so that's kind of things are easily moved out of the way. They're like, it's no obstruction, it's no obstacle at all. No, it's just you have to know the terms in order to, like, if you never heard the word God, you need to know what the word God is. If you think that has any value to you, then you should use the word, So it's like, it is part of the language in order to express the inexpressible, really. Here's the syllabus or the reader that you can download or receive. I can send it to you, easy as that. So there's an introduction and there's some words. Oh yeah, Treasure of the True Dharma Eye. See, I got it right. So it's a 30th century Buddhist monk, and so the great way that we used was the 6th century, and coming from China. This is from Japan. Now, what is Zen? A Zen Patriarch? That's one of the terms. Zen Patriarch can be described as an ancestral master or founding master. Words like these stem from the English translation of the Japanese or Chinese Zen scripts available. So it's like not even a word that exists in the traditional Japanese or Chinese Zen, of course. Now here, what is Dharma? Because we're talking about the treasure of the true Dharma Eye. The nature of reality is what Dharma is. The nature of reality is regarded as the universal truth taught by the Buddha, or demonstrated by the Buddha, and the teaching of the Buddhism. So that's Dharma. It's the nature of reality. All dharmas are forms of emptiness. So what is a koan? Because we're going to use koans. A paradoxical anecdote or riddle without a solution, used in Zen Buddhism to demonstrate the inadequacy of logical reasoning and provoke enlightenment. Yeah, so that is also a part. Now in this reader you see the way it's built up and all this, and here are the resources. So you can use them, download them as PDFs. So you can use that, and it will be growing, like there will be more soon, more parts, especially when we're going to introduce the idea of, say, Zen entanglement, Zen drawings, Zen poetry, like the koans, or maybe even writing a koan, or the haiku, for instance, that we can practice, just to allow yourself to be led instead of trying to figure it out. And this is always the thing. That stepping back, now I can write a poem, but I need to step back. If I try to make it work, it's not going to work. So that's the same with making music, of course, of anything, in fact, responding to situations around you. So we have to get into it a little bit. You can see that. Like I have to get used to presenting the things that I'm presenting, but also to bring them to you is a nice improvisation for myself too. Like, because I just have to trust what comes out. I just have to follow that. I'm following the inspiration that is given me, just like always. So that the thing is then, in this moment that is occurring, it has no tradition, it has no link to the past, you could say. So here's the realized koan, so-called, coming from the 13th century, but it's right here. When we take up body and mind and see forms, when we take up body and mind and hear sounds, although we understand them intimately, it is not like the reflection in a mirror, not like the water and the moon. No. When one side is verified, the other side is obscure. So when we take up body and mind and see forms, we use our perception. When we take up the body and mind and hear sounds, we use our ears. Although we understand them intimately, we're so accustomed to using that. It is not like the reflection in a mirror. Not like the water and the moon. No, when one side is verified, the other side is obscure. Now you get this, right? Oops, you get this. It's like, when I believe perception is real, what do I miss? I cannot hear the voice. I cannot experience reality, because literally I have already established my reality in form, in sound, that I know so intimately. So I cannot experience truth. I already chose my reality. One side is verified, the other side is obscure. Literally, there's no overlap. It is, if I see the reflection of the moon, it is not the moon, it is a reflection of the moon. When I believe the moon is in the water, I can't see the moon. When I see myself as a body, when I experience myself as a body, knowing and understanding that so intimately, my spiritual being is obscure to me. To study the way of the Buddhas is to study oneself. To study oneself is to forget oneself. To forget oneself is to be verified by the myriad dharmas. To be verified by the myriad dharmas is to slough off one's own. To slough off one's own body and mind and the body and mind of others. There's an ending to the traces of awakening. And the traces of awakening that are ended are brought out for a long, long time. See, there you go. You can't understand it. Your intellect is lost here. Now we're going to try to feel actually what this is saying. Like the study, to study the way of the Buddhas, to enlightenment, to study a path of enlightenment is to study oneself. No problem with that. Yes, absolutely. To study oneself is in fact to forget oneself. You come to discover that you're the one that's in the way. So it's like as long as there's personal involvement and motive, you're in falsity. To forget oneself is to be verified by the myriad dharmas, like the nature of truth comes along when you forget yourself, when the personal investment is released. And to be verified by the nature of truth is to slough off one's own body-mind and the body-mind of others. So literally it goes beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the considerations, beyond the concerns of others. And be vigilant against it. There's an ending to the traces of awakening. There's an ending to the traces of awakening. The traces you leave behind, like a rolling carpet. There's an end to it. The rolling carpet of history, of the traces of awakening are rolling up behind you. And the traces of awakening that are ended are brought out for a long, long time. This is a funny one too, it's great. Like when people ride in a boat, if they turn their eyes and gaze at the shore, they make the mistake of thinking that the shore is moving. When they fix their eyes more closely on the boat, they understand that it is the boat that is advancing. So now look at you in your awakening. Like when people ride in a boat, if they turn their eyes and gaze at the shore, they make the mistake of thinking that the shore is moving. When they fix their eyes more closely on the boat, they understand that it is the boat that is advancing. Similarly, in confirming the myriad dharmas, nature of truth, with a confused conception of body and mind, we make the mistake of thinking that our own mind and our own nature are eternally abiding. If we become intimate with our conduct and return here, the principle that the myriad dharmas are not self, is clear. Like if we become intimate with our conduct and return here, the principle that the myriad dharmas are not self is clear. Warming up in the Realized Koan. It's like it's the first koan in the book. And you see, okay, well, there's something to discover here. And it's great to stand still with it and to let yourself be going nuts with it in a certain sense. Like not trying to understand or trying to understand and seeing that it absolutely does not work. But what it does is, in fact, it makes you want to discover what it says. And this willingness, in fact, or this motivation, this inspiration to look for it will help you to open your consciousness even more to what lies beyond it. That's the same as I can say, like, well, don't use your eyes, don't use your perception to know who you are, because you will not find yourself. That's the same idea. It's like, okay, but how can I perceive without my eyes, or without using my ears? How can I hear without using my ears? Now, this, in your path, you already discovered there's a possibility. There's a way to do that. There's a way to come to that, like using your way of receiving, of listening in a totally different way, by opening your consciousness, by recognizing, in fact, by recognizing what you are, and by releasing what you are not. Well, this is in fact the beginning then. This is the warming up for the koans that are coming. And one will speak to you, like with the boat, it's very practical. You look at the shore and you see that the shore is moving, while actually you in the boat are moving. And these things, like there is something there to discover. And this is for you to discover. Let it be revealed to you what this actually says. Okay, so now the next part that we have is the Christ Treasury. The Christ Treasury is coming from the Urtext Manuscripts. And today it is a miracle prayer. Now, why am I using this? Just to listen with your koan, your koan mind, your Zen mind, listening to something that is familiar, because it's from A Course in Miracles, but you listen with different ears now. You just open something up in yourself. Now this sounds totally different. Listen to this. This day is God's. It is my gift to Him. I will not lead my life alone today. I do not understand the world, and so to try to lead my life alone must be but foolishness. For there is one who knows all that is best for me, and He is glad to make no choices for me but the ones that lead to God. This day I give Him. I give to Him, for I would not delay my coming home, and it is He who knows the way to Him. And so we give today to you. We come with wholly open minds. We do not ask for anything that we may think we want. Give us what you would have received by us. You know all our desires and all our needs, and you will give us everything we want, and that will help us find the way to you. This is God's. This day is God's. It's my gift to Him. If you speak French, you're invited to read this for us. That would be great. So open your microphone and just read it.
Ce jour est à Dieu, c'est le don que je lui fais. Je ne mènerai pas ma vie seule aujourd'hui. Je ne comprends pas le monde, donc cela ne peut être que sottise d'essayer de mener ma vie seule. Mais il en est un qui connaît tout ce qui est le mieux pour moi, et il est heureux de me faire pour moi que les choix qui mènent à Dieu. Je lui donne cette journée car je ne voudrais pas retarder mon retour chez moi, et c'est lui qui connaît la voie vers Dieu. Ainsi, Nous te donnons cette journée. Nous venons l'esprit entièrement ouvert. Nous ne demandons rien de ce que nous pensons vouloir. Donne-nous ce que tu voudrais que nous recevions. Tu connais tous nos désirs et tout ce que nous voulons. Et tu nous donneras tout ce dont nous avons besoin pour nous aider à trouver la voie vers toi.
All right, so this is our introduction to the Zen Patriarch, like the meeting. So we continue tomorrow with a Zen tabernacling, which would also be a moment of silence with a certain rhythm, like every 5 minutes there's, instead of a phrase, is there a sound, and this is also very helpful, or a nice variety of meditation. But see, the main thing is, in fact, always the same. It's like you turn within. Now you need help to focus, to stay present here, or you dive so deep in your experience that you're literally disappearing into the moment, which is of course naturally given to you. But if your mind goes wandering away, then you're being brought back with the signal, like bing. Now, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll play one more song, a really beautiful song too. Hope to see you next week or tomorrow in the meditation, of course. And thank you so much.